Hey, I'm Abby and welcome back to the Life Work Balance YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about how you can let your new supervisor know that you already have pre-scheduled vacation or time off plans when you are accepting a new job. Before I jump into that, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you're looking forward to some advice around how to broach this topic or this subject with your new supervisor. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you can receive life work balance advice delivered directly to you every week. So you're in the process of finding a new job, you've gone through the interview process, and you are in the process of accepting an offer. But you already have some time off scheduled when you will be getting in this new job. Now this could be time off scheduled during the first week to first month to first 3 months of your new employment. So how do you handle this? How do you loop your supervisor in and still get to take that time off while also accepting this new job? Well, first and foremost, most supervisors and most organizations promote taking time off. So don't worry about having this conversation with your supervisor. I have a few tips for you on how you can successfully address this topic with your supervisor and not only move forward with getting this new job, but also successfully and effectively take your time off. Number one is you want to start this conversation as soon as you have received a job offer and you've accepted the position. You don't want this to be the very last thing you discuss in this new job process, and you also don't want it to be the very first thing. You want to make sure that you have accepted the position and that you are on track to actually start the position. But you don't want to start off the interview process with this caveat of I'll be gone, because that's kind of assuming you'll get the position, and that type of cockiness or overconfidence can be a turnoff. And you don't want to wait to have this conversation until you've started the role. So I recommend you start this conversation when you start talking start dates and you have accepted the position. You do not need to make excuses for taking this time off. You don't need to give too much information. Like, I've had this vacation scheduled for the last year or the last 6 months. It's for my daughter's birthday or anything like that. You don't need to make excuses and give too much information. The reason for this is most employers, like I mentioned before, understand and promote their employees taking time off. You shouldn't be penalized for taking vacation. If you are, that is a huge red flag. And if you are penalized for it, then you'll want to consider if this is the right organizational fit for you. So when you address this topic with your new employer, you want to be direct. And you may also need to acknowledge that you will need to take unpaid time for this time off. You may not have accrued enough PTO or vacation time to be paid by your organization during the time that you're off for vacation. And that is sometimes okay and necessary if you would like to continue to take your vacation and not be penalized for it. There might just be an organizational policy in place that you will have to take unpaid time off during this time off because you haven't accrued the vacation time to cover it. Organizations may also allow you to maybe pre-draw from your vacation bank, and they'll then either expect you to pay them back if you don't accrue enough to cover it, if you choose to leave the organization, or they may just need to apply the time that you will accrue in the future to this time off that you take a little bit earlier in your employment. So you may want to also ask what the policy is for this. The other information that you will want to include in this discussion with your new employer are the dates that you will be gone. Again, you don't need to justify or make excuses as to this time off. Everyone is entitled to take their vacation and take their time off. You just happen to have stuff scheduled before you accepted this new job, and that is perfectly fine and acceptable. But again, you want to be as direct as possible and provide as much information as this supervisor or employer needs to know upfront. So have this conversation when you start talking start dates and you've already accepted the position. Let them know that you understand you may need to take unpaid time based on what their accrual policies are, and let them know what dates you anticipate being gone. That is all perfectly acceptable and information that they need to know in order to approve your time off. And having this conversation up front shows that you are direct, you are a good communicator, and that you are thinking about how your time off might impact their team and the organization. If you have already talked start date with your supervisor and you haven't yet brought up this time off, have that conversation about time off as soon as possible. You don't want to blindside your future employer, and at the same time, things happen, having this conversation as soon as possible is just best practice. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas on how you might handle this situation or how you've handled it in the past, please throw it in the comments box below. I love receiving comments, and I know that any comments that you put out there will likely help someone else going through something similar in the future. So again, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or ideas on how you can address the topic of time off before you've actually started your new job, throw it in the comments box below. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you can continue to receive life-work balance advice delivered directly to you every week. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.